Hi friends, Miss PG here. We have our last week of visualizing. So remember, good readers visualize in order to better understand the books they read and listen to. Today, we are going to listen to Fireflies. And the story and pictures are by Julie Brinklow. And when we are listening to this book and when we are drawing our visualizations, our mental images, I want you to think about what colors do you see in your mental image. So, friends, make sure you have some colored pencils or some crayons with you available. And then your piece of paper, and fold your piece of paper in half. So I have a piece of paper that has my planning sheet on the other side, but I'm going to fold it in half like we've done in the past, and then write I see and I hear. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to write I see on the top part, and I might draw my little eyes. I see is going to be on the top part. Draw the little eyes. I see. And on the bottom, it's I hear. And I might draw a little ear. So I see and I hear. Okay? And then you're going to fill in with color. You'll fill in with color. Okay? Top is I see, the bottom is I hear. And think really about what colors come up in your visualization today, in your mental image today. Fireflies. I will pause and have you draw throughout. Adding detail really helps us better connect to the stories we read. Adding detail to our drawings. On a summer evening, I looked up from dinner through the window to the backyard. It was growing dark. My treehouse was a black shape in the tree, and I wouldn't go up there now. But something flickered there. A moment. I looked, it was gone. So something was lit up, and then it went away. It flickered again, over near the fence. Fireflies. Don't let your dinner get cold, said Mama. Okay, friends, what do you see and what do you hear? Go ahead and pause the video and draw. And remember, you can sketch, so you can draw with your pencil first and then come back and color in later. I forked the meat and corn and potatoes into my mouth. Please, may I go out? The fireflies. Mama smiled, and Daddy nodded. Go ahead, they said. I ran from the table down to the cellar to get a jar. I knew where to look, behind the stairs. The jars were dusty, and I polished one clean on my shirt. So he's wiping it off on his shirt. Then I ran back up 2 steps at a time. Holes, I remembered, so they can breathe. And as quietly as I could, so she wouldn't catch me drilling them, I poked holes in the top of the jar with Mama's scissors. The screen door banged behind me. As I ran from the house, if someone had said, "Don't slam it," I wasn't listening. I called to my friends in the streets, "Fireflies!" But they had come before me with polished jars, and others were coming behind. The sky was dark now. My ears rang with crickets, and my eyes stung from staring too long. I blinked hard as I watched them, fireflies blinking on, blinking off, dipping low, soaring high above my head, making white patterns in the dark. We ran like crazy barefoot in the grass. Catch them, we cried, grasping at the lights. Friends, pause the video. What do you see and what do you hear? And then come back. Suddenly, a voice called above the others. I caught one, and it was my own. I thrust my hands into the jar and spread it open. The jar glowed like moonlight, and I held it in my hands. I felt a tremble of joy, and I shouted, I can catch hundreds. Then we dashed about, waving our hands in the air like nets, catching 200, 1,000, hundreds of fireflies, thrusting them into jars, waving our hands for more. Then someone called from my house, it's time to come in now, and others called from other houses, and it was over. My friends took jars of fireflies to different homes. I climbed the stairs to my room and set the jar on the table by my bed. Mom kissed me and turned out the light. I caught hundreds, I said. Pause the video and draw. What do you see? What do you hear? And then unpause when you're done drawing. Daddy called from the hallway. See you later, alligator. After a while, crocodile, I called back. I caught hundreds of fireflies. In the dark, I watched the fireflies from my bed. They blinked off and on, and the jar glowed like moonlight. But it was not the same. The fireflies beat their wings against the glass and fell to the bottom and lay there. The light in the jar turned yellow, like a flashlight left on too long. I tried to swallow, but something in my throat could not go down. And the light grew dimmer, green, like moonlight underwater. What do you see? What do you hear now? Pause and draw. And then come back. I shut my eyes tight and put the pillow over my head. They were my fireflies. I caught them. They made moonlight in my jar, but the jar was nearly dark. I flung off the covers. I went to the window and opened the jar and aimed it at the stars. Fly, I said. Then the jar began to glow, green, then gold, then white as the moon, and the fireflies poured out into the night. Fireflies blinking on, blinking off, dipping low, soaring high above my head, making circles around the moon like dancing stars. Oh my goodness, my mental image is amazing right now. There's so much going on. Friends, I held the jar, dark and empty in my hands. The moonlight and the fireflies swam in my tears, but I could feel myself smiling. Mixed emotions. The kid has to leave the fireflies to go out of the jar, but they get to fly free, friends. What did you see and what did you hear throughout your book? Add to your drawing and add lots of color. Add lots of color. Think about what your mental image is and add the detail with the color. And then you will upload your finished work on Seesaw. I hope you enjoyed this book, Fireflies. Thank you, friends.